Hey Neil, how's it going?
Good, Cal. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Well, here we are. This is going to be episode 11 of Two Dudes and Killer Tunes. Thanks for everyone for continuing to support us and listen and follow along with us on this journey. First thing we want to talk about, and obviously you just heard in the lead-in, Sinead O'Connor just passed away a couple days ago, which actually, one is super sad, but also I didn't expect it to kind of hit me as hard as it did, Neil. I don't know, how did you feel when you heard that news?
Well, of course I was sad because she was awesome singer and performer. We all know Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. What was that, like 1988, 89?
I think it was probably about 90.
90.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was born in 77, so I was around 12, 13 years old when that song came out, listening to it on the bus, because our bus to school had the radio on, and that was playing nonstop every freaking 10 minutes.
Was that Scranton?
Yes, Scranton Middle School, yeah, and then Brighton High. But yeah, and of course she had, you can maybe delve into that, her maybe other components outside of music. She was pretty
she was way ahead of her time.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think has one of the best voices that I've ever heard. And we picked Mandinka on the lead in because we just watched the video from the Grammys from 1989.
Mm-hmm.
It was from Lion and the Cobra. And she came out, Billy Crystal introduced her, and she came out all by herself as a 21-year-old and just dominated that place.
Go ahead.
I just want to hear, kind of hearing that first part. What was your reaction?
I know. Well, Cal just played it, just moments ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am getting shivers, like I'm getting them right now, by the way. And then I almost started crying too, it was sad. And
it just extremely sad, but then to just see that talent. She
mm-hmm.
is a once in a generation
mm-hmm.
talent in my mind. And then, you mentioned, she had her beliefs, she spoke, her truth, and, people didn't like it, and really her superstardom only was a small window of time. And it's, one, too bad, but two, now, fast forward 25, 30 years later, and everything that she stood for is everything we see now. And she would be celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
Later on in life, where she continues to make some great music. 2000, she came out with just an incredible album.
I think it was called Faith and Courage.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with names of songs, lyrics, music, everything. So why I won't do this show, who knows? But but no, she continued to really churn out great music. She would do tours and everything, and even when she could have been like this person, and she didn't want it, at that time, she did it for her own thing. Everything about her was her own.
And I like how you said that. Like now, she would be celebrated,
Uh-huh.
and I think you put it on our page about her having that tattoo on her.
Yeah, the Public Enemy logo.
Because?
Yeah, it was, so we talked about Sinead in actually episode 3,
mm-hmm.
When Paul was on, because,
mm-hmm.
Paul's this huge fan of female vocalists, and actually, Sinead's probably my number one, and I think you too, when we look back at it.
Absolutely.
And, we talked about her career and how short it really was. Well, the superstardom part of her career, but this documentary, it's called Nothing Compares, and me and Paul had both seen it. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Mm-mm.
But it follows her entire career from before she was ever famous up until I think 2000, 2001, and that's where I first saw that video of the Grammys, and I was absolutely blown away. And I had the same reaction as you. It was like, I didn't remember how much I actually liked her. Then I immediately started putting all of her songs in my rotation. But that was what the clip, and she had the Public Enemy logo like painted in her head. And I didn't understand why, but then they get into it, and it was actually the Public Enemy logo. And she put it in there to kind of stand in solidarity with Chuck D and Flavor Flav and, you know, the rest of them, because the Grammys didn't have like a rap category. So it was like her way of kind of sticking it to the man while she was up there just, you know,
I think that's pretty
killing
cool.
it. I know.
You know, a young, was she 21 at the time?
She was 21, yeah.
I mean, come on. What were you guys doing when you were 21?
Right. We were probably sitting getting drunk watching the Grammys, more than likely.
Amongst
So,
other things.
I just wanted to start out by giving a little, shout out to Sinead. I mean, her career, it's a shame, absolute shame that she's gone. But, the one thing about these artists is they live on forever through their music. And
Absolutely.
For those of you that haven't really listened to or have never even heard of her, aren't even really aware, go out and definitely get some of those songs. And I think you'll be pretty surprised at what you hear, if you've never really listened to her before.
That's a good point. I think that most people don't, and we talked about this, but they know Sinead O'Connor as Nothing Compares to You. And actually, that wasn't even her song. Or it was her song, but Prince wrote it.
Let's put it that way. She owned that
she
song.
I've
seen Prince sing it, and there's nothing compares to the way
but all
Mandika
that we just played, and all the songs on that, and the first two albums.
The one thing everyone knows her for, either you know her for Nothing Compares to You, or you're on the other end, you know her for tearing up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, which, in the grand scheme of things now, I mean, I'm sure a lot more people would do that, but they wouldn't get canceled for it. They wouldn't have, like, the whole world want it, Stuff like that seems to happen every single day. You forget about it, you move on. She, like I said, she was just way ahead of her time,
Right.
And we're definitely going to miss her. And actually, I read, true or not, that she was actually going to be starting working on more music and planning a tour, for like 24. But one thing, I know one of our supporters, Erin Powers out there, she commented back as well, but she actually had a chance to see Sinead at the Lil Affair years ago. So I never did, and I know you have.
No, I haven't.
And it's one of those ones that will never have that chance again, so little shout out.
Little dippity dip.
Yep. So moving on, because we do have other things. Another shout out. Garrett next door was able to definitely help out the old man with his tech a little bit. We had some issues with the Avery episode. Great video, great audio, but the problem was they weren't actually together. So.
Great content, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was good.
So, but no, Garrett was able to help us out.
Appreciate you, Garrett.
Gave us some other tips and stuff that we'll probably take on with us for season 2. We can't get out of ourselves.
Yeah,
here.
we're garage still. We might make it to the penthouse.
Which reminds me,
eventually.
Update on the T-shirts. Since we talked on the Avery episode, we still have some out there. So out of those original 5, there's still a few to go. So that's the update there.
And I apologize if we've delved or said something about this, but we appreciate the people who do have the shirts that are wearing them and out in public.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah.
So
last week I sent you a picture.
That's right. Yeah. So we've had actually a couple of 2 dudes in Killer Tunes merch sightings out there. And the first was
merch sightings.
Actually, episode 7 guest John Shack at the Incarceration Festival, and he wore it, I believe, when he actually saw Limp Bizkit. So it was like the full circle moment for him.
Totally doing
which is so awesome, Oh yeah, he totally did it for the Nookie. And so then, but the other one, which is I thought super cool too, was Charlie.
Yes.
He was actually out of those 5, I think he's our one and only sale so far. So shout out to him. But no, he was at, I believe, a graduation party of another friend of ours, Tree.
Tree,
Yeah, Tree, love that guy.
Yep.
And but there's a picture floating around Charlie's sporting the shirt with a couple other guys there, so it's super cool.
Charlie, we appreciate you, brother.
100%.
That's two dudes right there.
We love the supporters, absolutely. So, Neil, I think we kind of covered all of our administrative type business. I think you had a topic that was pretty interesting and made us do some thinking and soul searching.
Yeah, so there's a ton of bands out there, right? And bands that you maybe aren't proud to admit that you like, or maybe you're a closet fan of them, however you want to say it. And so I asked Cal, what are a band that maybe you're not like too proud to like, and you're like, oh man, I really like a couple of songs, but there's a lot of songs that are like garbage, right?
Well, that's the thing. I don't like any shitty bands. But
Right.
No.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I guess
of course, we all have those ones, right, where you're like, I don't really like them, but then, like, if you're alone in your car and it comes on, like, you're totally singing it.
Oh, yeah.
And, gets you amped up.
Come with a banger, and you freaking turn the radio up, and you're like, hell yeah. And then when they get to a stoplight, you turn it down, you can roll the windows up. All right. So I asked Cal, and then I said this, and I said, one of mine is the band called The Offspring. Now, don't get mad at me. I know. Again, all of you are going to be like, oh, I love The Offspring.
Oh, we just heard, like, the clicks of at least 10 things turning off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're deafening over
They're
here.
Just be mad at Offspring.
All
right. But I love The Offspring, aside from, a couple of songs, but...
So you are pretty fly for a white guy, though.
Yeah, so like, there's the one song...
I think they wrote that for you.
Yeah, so there's the one song where I'm like, all right, I'm pretty fly for... I mean, not a huge fan of that song, but I think it was their album after. It doesn't matter, but... The Kids Aren't Alright is a great song.
So, this is my take on The Offspring, right?
Go ahead, please.
From when, like, in the 90s and that, when they first came out, at least, you're aware of them when they, hit the Midwest. And I couldn't stand them right out of the gate. And Pretty Fly for the White Guy pretty much did it for me. And that was, like, nonstop on the radio and MTV at the time. And I'm like... And he had the stupid hair with like the and it was awful.
Yep.
And so fast forward, 20 some years, and I'm in the car with Emily and the kids, and that comes on, and I immediately change it. Not on my playlist, by the way, on the local radio. And Emily and Kennedy both like, "What are you doing?" Like, what do you mean, what am I doing? That was The Offspring. They're like, yeah, we know. I'm like, you guys like that shit? It's awesome. I'm like, oh my God. So, I let it play. But then I think it was the one you just mentioned, The Kids Aren't All Right.
Yeah.
Fast forward hour long, and I think it was just me and Kennedy in the car, and that song comes on, and I never sing. Sometimes I actually like whistle the lyrics, which is super weird. Yes. I kind of hum them, and I started doing that, and Emily's like, "Oh, you love The Offspring now?" And I'm like, so even with The Offspring, they still have at least that one. I'll call it killer tune. I'm not gonna, that's stretching it, but still, no. But one that if it comes on, I definitely will listen to it for sure.
And again, we're not hating at all. I think all bands have their, I guess, what you would say, killer tunes and everything, but I think they have more than just that. And they have and now they're playing on like 98.7. We're in Detroit, Michigan here, and 97 plays them and everything. And I'm like, and they play different songs. I'm like, all right, I can jam to some Offspring, but I've been a fan for a bit. Whatever.
And you know what?
Hate me if you or love me.
We do have a few probably stations in Detroit area that would play it. And the nice thing is they don't always play the same thing over and over.
Right,
Which
right.
when they first came out, that's all they would do. And then they would play the next one over and over. So it was like you never actually,
Yeah.
you know.
So is there a band that you...
Well, the first one I went to immediately. And it actually was funny because it just came up this week earlier. It was a post by another podcaster, and I don't remember who put it up there. I tried finding it, but the question was around what is your favorite Spin Doctors song that is not Two Princes or Little Miss Can't Be Wrong or whatever, or Right or whatever it is.
Unreal.
My response was, oh, they have more than two songs?
Right.
You know? And actually, he's like, well, you know, yeah. He goes, I've heard that before or something to that effect, but check out Jimmy Olsen's Blues, and then Shinbone Alley, Hard to something. I forget. But anyway, Shinbone Alley and Jimmy Olsen's Blues, and they're pretty good. You know, like I listened to it, I put it in my playlist, so then I started playing them earlier, right? And I'm like, hey, what do you think of this song? Yeah, I like that. I'm like, Spin Doctors.
And I immediately did the same thing you did.
Yeah, no matter what, you can find, you know, one. So I will say I've kind of become that a little more of a Spin Doctor song because and again, it hit me wrong from the word go, and for me, I just become almost like a snob. Like I don't even get a chance from there.
That's the thing, and
you got to learn to kind of let that shit go, bro.
You sure do. Yeah, you sure do. And that's all these bands that, I mean, so we were talking to your daughter about Motley Crue. She's like, I like Motley Crue songs. And what was the one song?
Smoking in the Boys' Room?
Yeah. I don't think
which isn't even their song.
Yeah, which isn't even their song. But everybody's like, yeah, I love that song. I'm like, that's probably a terrible song.
It's awful.
And Motley Crue has a bunch of terrible songs. But they have a bunch of bangers too.
Right.
But I think that's what the band, and we've said it before about being a musician.
Well, you mentioned another one that
thing.
You're not proud of, but what was it again?
I think it was Blink 182.
Oh yeah. But so that's kind of one for me too. Like I don't want to. I'm not really a fan, but I mean, I've definitely heard some of their songs that I'm a fan of.
And we've had John Shack on the show. I think you said episode 7 ish.
It was 7, yeah. Unbelievable. We're on 11 now.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Me and Shaq and a bunch of the boys from UD went to, and we actually saw Blink 182.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Yeah. At Cobo Hall. It was like the 80 X Fest or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think we might have talked about that, but that was a rough,
we did.
That was a rough day.
We did for a hot minute. And there's one band for me where I'm like, dude, I freaking like Blink 182, and we were talking again to your daughter earlier, and she's like, I hate Blink 182. I'm like, I don't hate them, but I freaking don't love them either. But I find myself jamming to their songs. So whatever.
They so they just kind of got back together, right? And I know they did a.
Did they come to Detroit already?
I think no, they already came to Detroit, but they.
I'm not gonna go see them in concert or anything.
No, but they did a big set in at Coachella. It's like one of their first times back, and then they launched their tour or whatever.
I bet you that.
And actually,
those people love
that was this year, and Jason Hebert was there. So he saw the actual Blink 182 coming back, like kind of just tearing.
So we were going to hopefully have Hebert on in future, but what did he say about that? He said it was awesome.
I mean, I think he's now gone 4 times and has already got tickets ready to go for next year again as well. It could be, who knows, could be 5 and 6 or whatever. But no, he said it's like a whole different world out there. I mean, I talked to him earlier this week, and he said it's like you could do just a whole episode just talking Coachella.
We should.
And,
God damn it, we should go to Coachella.
So, that's something that we need to talk about, right? So,
right.
I don't want to talk about any more shitty bands that we don't.
Yeah, we're done.
I'm sorry, they're not shitty bands. Of course, they're good bands that have some very good songs. So, actually, we picked up a little guest here. It looks like, Neil. Who you got there with you?
I think this is Phoebe. Phoebe's my biggest fan, of course.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of hers too, but
yeah, Phoebe's pretty sweet.
Yeah, Phoebe is really cool, dog.
she actually made an appearance in episode 1, again when it was just me and Neil. And Echon actually called that out.
Yeah.
Like, literally dropped the episode within 10 minutes. Hey, 5:30, check it out. Someone enters the screen. It's her fucking nose. But anyway. So, we want to get away from not the shitty bands, but the bands that, for some reason we held a grudge against that we're more open to. But we're going to move on from that.
Yes, we're definitely moving on from shitty bands.
We talked about, bangers, right? Killer tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some concerts coming up. Now, first let's focus on the ones that me and you are going together. We got 2 lined up currently.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially a third. We need to get you that Ben Harper ticket.
All right.
Me, you, and Maxie should be going to that also.
That's fine with me. I'll do Ben Harper.
All right. So anyway, first we got Smashing Pumpkins, which is at Pine Knob. That's going to be a sweet show. I've seen them quite a few times, but only one other time have I actually seen them at Pine Knob. And you've probably never seen them at Pine Knob.
No, I have not seen them at Pine Knob.
No, because that was actually Lollapalooza in 94? 94, I believe it was. Yes, it was, because it was supposed to be, Nirvana was supposed to be the headliner. And then Kurt Cobain passed away. No. Yeah, it was 94, I think. Anyway, Kurt Cobain passed away. That was when the Pumpkins took over to be the headliner with Beastie Boys, Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm. Tribe Called Quest. Well, go ahead.
It was just, to me, that was probably the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Having Beastie Boys and Pumpkins together was amazing. That was the only time I've ever seen them at Pine Knob. Every other time has always been, indoor venue with the exception of Come Alive last year, which I don't expect any Pumpkin show to ever probably match that one.
No, that was a good show.
No, it was a great show. We hadn't seen them forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time that I seen Corrigan, Iha, and Chamberlain together since they've been back. 'Cause I know they did a tour like through LCA, and they even opened up for Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
But
so Pumpkins is when?
That is September 6th.
September 6th.
So this is where you had mentioned just in the other spot was, oh man, we need to go to Coachella, right? We were just talking about Blink playing there, and I totally want to get there. I could see either going into a Coachella, Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza. Right in Chicago.
Might as well.
And one, just go for the experience, and it's going to be awesome. 2, do some sort of show or something from there, or document it for however long we're there.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, though, for the Pumpkins, September 6th. I still think we do it. I think I am actually going to take some time off of work, use some PTO, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get down there early, get a good parking spot to do some tailgating, set up the table, just like we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're mobile. We can make this shit happen. And just kind of observe, get ready for the show, and, maybe catch some fans walking by.
I think that would be cool.
Not fans of ours. Fans of the Pumpkins, of course. But, no, I want to start kind of doing more of that. And, the one thing, let's stick to this show. When we walk inside those, through the doors, I'm no longer a 2-dude, working man. I am 100% fanboy.
Total
right?
fan, yeah.
So, we always talk about covers on this show. We always talk about killer tunes, whatever. And, we've talked to death Drowned by the Pumpkins. One, of course, I hope they play it. But if they don't, we heard it in May.
Yes.
But some of the covers I know they've done in the past is obviously Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which is on one of their albums. I think it might be Pisces. And then I've also heard a cover that they did of Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young.
Neil Young.
Which would be super sweet. And I think they also did a cover, and these date back to almost like the late 80s, I think, of
Oh, no kidding.
Venus and Furs, I believe, by Velvet Underground. So you can find them on, Spotify. Like they're not like the deep cuts on some of those old albums, some of the old sessions or whatever.
Wow.
So of course you'd love to hear those, but the one,
I didn't even know that.
and I don't know if I've told you about this song, but I posted about it a while ago. It's called Crawl, and it's from the Gish sessions, I believe. And it's just, remember when we saw it, Kemba Live, it was just Billy Corgan and James Iha doing Tonight Tonight.
Mhm.
And this song is actually just Billy Corgan and Jimmy Chamberlain playing like a djembe drum. And it's called Crawl. And oh my God, Corgan on the acoustic, Chamberlain. I would love to see them play that. I've been trying to like blast it out there, but
And let 'em know.
that would be like but that would be so cool. Like how often do you see like the drummer come out and just like the two of them?
It's funny that you mentioned that about when I think if I've said this before on a podcast, I apologize in an earlier episode, but
It don't matter, because you know what? There's a good chance that no one's ever watched it before, so this will be the first time they hear you say it.
But Dave Matthews was being interviewed by, let's just say, Jay Leno or whatever, and they said, Jay Leno was like, so what do you say when somebody says, play frickin' Freebird or play, obviously that's not a Matthews song, but play, and Dave Matthews goes, no, I'm not playing it. Why know what? Because you just said that. You just screamed that. I'm not playing.
You ruined it for everyone. Yeah. And it's funny because you brought that up during the Pumpkins. Remember the show we went to? 2007. It was at the Fox. That's exactly what he did.
Yes.
Remember, he was so pissed off because people
was
play Zero.
He was
play
so
Zero.
pissed.
And finally he was like, all right, motherfuckers, here it is. Now I'm out of here. And, it's basically, you ruined it for everyone.
Yes, totally ruined it.
Right, because they don't understand how concerts work. He's going to play that song.
He will play it, you fucking fucks. Sorry about the swears, but he's going to play, they're going to play the songs. Don't scream.
Absolutely.
Freebird or whatever, or whatever you want to scream.
I know.
Idiots. There is
there's so many people.
Concert courtesy that you must have.
Absolutely.
But whatever, if you
absolutely
dicks want to keep doing that, whatever.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up, pal.
Yeah.
All right, so we also, the only other confirmed one we have is Porno for Pyros. Which one, I think, we're going to that with Shaq.
With Shaq, yeah.
So that's the other thing I love about this show so far is, one, we've reconnected with some people, but now, like, every concert I'm going to, which is 6 now, like, I'm going to with someone that's either been on the show or will be on the show. Maxie we're going to Ben Harper with. Kennedy Avery, me and you going to Pumpkins. Me, Kennedy Avery going to Greta Van Fleet. Me, you, and Shaq now going to. I love that, and I love how Shaq and Nathan went to the incarceration, and it all started here, and that's what keeps you going, one, it's just fun, but no, it's like fun to see that, have the reconnection, go to shows. Now you have more experiences, and you see it kind of almost lights the fire under some other people.
It absolutely does. And I'm on Facebook, and so I see a lot of things, and I know the concert series and whatever is going on right now, and I love seeing everybody like, oh, I just went and saw this show and that show, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think it's popular in every state, but of course we're in Detroit, we're in Motor City, or not Motor City, not Music City, but we're Motown, right?
Yeah,
I'll get that
Third
right.
time's a charm.
Yeah.
We got there.
But
we took the long way.
Us in Detroit, we love going to shows, and everybody else does. I get it, but I love
There's
how
something about Detroit.
Like all our friends are going to shows every freaking weekend, whether it's country,
insane.
rap, rock and roll, indie.
Beyonce was just here last week.
I love it.
And one thing we didn't touch on, I forgot to mention earlier, was the Ed Sheeran show.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you saw the video, right?
Yeah.
With the collaboration with Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem came on.
Eminem came out, and I mean, let's put it this way: the Lions have never made that place sound like that.
Maybe that one game against Chicago Bears on Monday night. I went to that game. That was super loud. But other than that, I've heard that was the loudest that anybody's
It wasn't that
heard.
Monday night Jets game when they lost by like 47 points or whatever, and they were going to kill them. It's going to be a great start to a year.
That was the opening. Oh, but yes, that Ed Sheeran, under your point, it was the loudest anybody's ever heard at Ford Field.
I mean, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I think he did like Lose Yourself and then Stan or something. And
I've seen the actual like really good video, because there's some videos out there where people actually did it with their phones, but there's an actual really good video out there, and oh my gosh, goosebumps. I mean, right now I'm like, oh my gosh, those fans are going nuts.
Well, remember, like, God, this was a long time ago now, but was it Jay-Z and Eminem did a show at Comerica?
Mm-hmm.
Elena went to that show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she went with John, episode 2 guest, our first guest, and
I bet you that was amazing.
I mean, because that was probably like 10, 15 years ago for sure. Approaching 15, yeah. But I mean, to see Eminem live, I mean, you don't get too many chances nowadays. So
No,
those people got a treat for
and
sure.
Jay-Z. I mean, Jay-Z, they'll make their appearances and stuff.
The one with Ed Sheeran, I mean, those people got a treat because there ain't any time soon. The last time we saw him was Super Bowl, I think. On a kind of a grand scale. So that was super cool. And actually, the coolest thing about that too, though, with Ed Sheeran was the night before he played a show at Royal Oak Music Theater.
Yeah.
Where Ben Harper's going to play. Just a small. Was it about 2,500 people maybe or something?
Gosh, and I just want to say I apologize, but I hate that the ticket prices are so freaking high.
I know.
Well, I think we're going to get past that. This whole economy, inflation.
No, it's definitely a hurdle, man.
It sucks, but I'm glad that there are still people out there that can afford it, are going to the shows still, and supporting artists.
And you know what? And that is 100%. I mean, tickets are insane.
Mm-hmm. It effing sucks.
And it's funny because the amount that I paid for a Pearl Jam ticket for the Lawn was the most I've ever paid for a concert ticket in my life.
And he's really old.
Right, I'm really old.
I'm just kidding.
And I'm not including Hamilton in Chicago. But no, it was the most expensive, but they were the ones that were fighting the hardest, right, about keeping tickets. And it's not their fault, right? It's the whole aftermarket thing. Especially when you're only doing a small, like 12-city tour or whatever. It's funny because I was talking to someone just yesterday, and they had mentioned that their wife had gone. Actually, it was Garrett. His wife went to Taylor Swift, and another Jason Hebert went to Taylor Swift as well. But point being, no idea what they spent on their ticket. But in my mind, I know their prices were insane for Taylor Swift. But if me as a fan, like if I paid $500 for that ticket, she made it worth it. Because she played like 3.5 hours, played like 40 songs. Like cool. I could actually see spending that because that is like a once in a life. Mm-hmm. But to pay $500 to go see some band, play hour and a half and whatever, just because we've been around or whatever, it's for me. It's always been more of a quality over quantity with concerts. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I've paid a lot, like I said, for Pearl Jam. I mean, I played quite a bit for Coldplay with me, and then we went and saw them in Cleveland. But to me, that was like her favorite band. It was a weekend trip, so you right. It's an experience. So you know what, you might pay a little more. And you know what, it was worth it. Like, I'm not a Coldplay fan at all, but I mean, that concert is like, every song. It's high energy.
Twice.
Have you really?
Yeah. Yep. I've seen Coldplay twice.
Where at?
I think it was the Palace both times. Palace of
Really?
Auburn.
Did you ever go with Pickler?
Yeah, I went with Pickler once.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And then I think I just went with some other friends. I think I don't want to.
Oh, his other friends, the more sophisticated.
Yeah. These are my men's league soccer friends. No, they're not more sophisticated. I think you're
the farthest thing from sophistication. I know what he's talking about.
I think we went, but yeah, I think no, yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember. I actually bought it. Yeah, it was Dragon and Adam.
Was it Quinter?
No, Dragon and Adam.
Stank.
Bikin.
Bikin.
One of the
Neil McGill.
No, it was one of the. I forget.
I'm just shouting out names of.
But I
five
remember
people,
I actually bought a ticket for one of the guys that I come on, let's go. I think there was 4 of us. It was $100 actually for a Coldplay show. Freaking over 17 years ago. Whatever. But they put on a really good show.
What were the seats like?
We did not get main floor. But we just had seats lower bowl, if you will. But then they had both shows that we went to. Coldplay would pop up in the middle of it.
Yeah, they did that in Cleveland.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I thought again, there's maybe something we touched on earlier about a band that I'm not. That would have been a good one. It's Coldplay. I'm not a huge Coldplay fan. I'm maybe a cloud, but they have plenty of good songs.
It's funny to say that.
Songs.
That's how Coldplay started out with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Coldplay, and then all of a sudden you hear more and more, and I'm like, oh, all right. And then I didn't go to Coldplay in Cleveland because I wanted to. I did that because, I think it was in February, so it was probably our anniversary thing, a couple weeks later or whatever. But actually spent a weekend in Cleveland, and I gotta say, shout out to effing Cleveland.
Fuck yeah, Cleveland.
We stayed right downtown, spent the whole weekend there, the casino right down there, and, walked to, it was Quicken Loans Arena at the time. It's probably Rocket or whatever now. And then they have, down right by the river, the stadium, and really nice, actually, And then also Cleveland's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which just had a 50th year celebration for hip-hop. Celebrating hip-hop, and who was there was the King DMC.
Oh, yeah, what up?
Because
DMC
he actually was inducted in the Hall of Fame, I want to say, back in, it was either 2007, 2009, if I remember right. So him and I believe Chuck D were there. And then I think they're actually doing something else now together in Park City, Utah. There's something going on, and they're going to be on the stage together, DMC and Chuck D.
Chuck D.
I mean, how sweet would that be? Two of the literally OGs of rap. I mean, not original, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
Not every,
that was early '80s. Come on.
Right. I mean, I don't even know if Sugar Hill Gang's around anymore.
I mean, the
early what?
Yeah,
hippie.
I mean, that was.
I wish Jeff Thomas was here right now to sing it.
Oh yeah, he would sing every word.
Or D-Man.
D-Man.
If you look close, it says Greaves Hideaway back here somewhere. All right, so what other shows we got? We have Porno for Pyros coming up at the Fillmore.
Mm-hmm.
So one, that's, for me, super exciting because we're main floor. And, my favorite venue used to be the State Theater. It's now the Fillmore Detroit. So it's a theater, perfect for sound. We're on the floor. It's Perry Farrell. I've never actually seen Porno for Pyros. Have you?
No.
Okay.
I think last weekend we were talking about it. Oh yeah, they play Ben Caught Stealing, right? And you're like, no, that's Jane's. I'm like, oh shit.
Right.
All right. Pets.
And actually Porno for Pyros. And what is it, Tahitian Moon or something like that?
Yes.
And to be honest, I saw they were coming, and Shaq was like, hey, you want to go? I'm like, hey, are you buying tickets? I got Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were going, but I had to go back and look. I'm like, I don't even really remember what they played.
Well,
I remember that. Pets, and that was about it.
Well,
I didn't even remember
album.
Porno for Pyro. I remember the album.
I had the tape.
Yeah.
And that whole tape, whatever album, shit, sorry guys, what was the name of the album? I don't know, but
it was just, I think it was just Porno for Pyros.
Yeah, that album is good.
And that was the one song. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if did they have more than one album. I don't know.
You know, that was one of those things.
So hopefully they play some Janes.
Right. They might throw one in there, right? Yeah.
I'm sure they probably will.
I think Perkins. I think the drummer's in Porno for Pyros with him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there's at least him and Perry Farrell and at least one other. And I thought it was the drummer that's in Porno for Pyros, but it's going to be awesome.
I think it'll be great.
We have main floor. Absolutely. So that is me in my early 20s. Like I remember going to the State Theater, being main floor, not muscling, but you work your way up.
You do. If you want to muscle, you can. But
I was never. I was never a crowd surfer or never a mosh pit guy.
No.
I just wanted to enjoy the show
and be up there,
right, and just get as close as possible.
That one.
Right, you hold on.
When you're just getting
low, you tuck, so everyone's over the top.
And then hopefully you get right to the front stage and you have your.
Absolutely.
And you're looking up. I think you mentioned that in one of our earlier episodes. You're like, oh my gosh, I was right there.
And I think the last time I actually did that was, because I'm an old man. I'm just happy to be in the fucking building at that. I'm happy to be standing on my feet, right? 6 feet above, not below. That's always my motto. Made it here. But no, when years ago, me and Emily went to see Rusted Root in Maumee, Ohio. And, we're like, grandparents had the kids. We drove down to Ohio the day of. We stayed in this hotel in the little venue, which was like for autism. So they just set up a stage in like this strip mall.
Oh, yeah.
So we stayed in the hotel, literally walked about maybe 200 yards and you're at the venue. And as we're on our way down, I know I've mentioned this before, but again, I'm sure no one heard it.
I've heard it a bunch of times.
Go up to the hotel, drop our shit off. We're amped. We're like, hey, let's go. We can have beer. We can, get this going. So we head down. We're gonna walk over, and the elevator door opens up. And I look up. I go, hey, Michael, how's it going? He's like, good. And not very extroverted, I'll say. And
Michael is.
Well, I say, hey. We're actually heading down right now to go see you, and we saw you a couple months ago in Cincinnati at the Taft Theater. He's like, it's a really nice venue. I said, yeah. I said it was really cool because, it's a really nice venue. Been a fan for, decades, and now I'm, brought my family to the show. He's like, yeah, that's awesome, or whatever. So, all right, we get down, the door opens up, and he walks away, and Emily looks at him and goes, who was that guy? I'm like, that was Michael Glebicki. He's the lead singer of Rusted Root, the band we're going to see right now. She's like, oh, I thought you worked with him. But anyway, that was like the last time.
I love that story.
I know. So we go down, and it's literally, they like have a little like fence set up, and it's at the strip mall, and it's in a grassy area. It's starting to rain. We go in, and it was like $12 to get in, which
I love the strip mall.
and you go, and you had to get tickets to get your beer or whatever, yeah. Right? And we had like $20 or whatever. Got us like 4 beers,
right.
Which one sucks,
well,
right?
Whatever.
Well, cause it was one of those things way back when you actually had to have cash. So we had like no cash hardly. Like 4 beers. Rusted Root. We're not driving. So we go out and we start from afar. We're watching, and all of a sudden, I feel like this person kind of like wedge in between me and Emily a little bit. And it's some chick.
Look back.
And I just kind of like, what the F's going on here, right? And all of a sudden, she's muscling me out because she's hitting on Emily.
Really?
Emily's got no idea. She's just watching. I'm like, what the hell's going on, right? So I kind of like inch up and over a little bit. And she finally, I think, figured out, oh, they were actually together. Looks at us and goes, hey, do you guys want my drink tickets? Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we ended up with about 6 more beers,
nice,
which was cool.
Nice.
But anyway, by the end, I'm like, we got to get closer. And we worked our way up, and we ended up over by the speaker, which, oh my God, you just felt that. Just like,
I love that.
but we ended up,
boom.
one person behind the stage. Like, the people in front of us had their beers on the stage, and it was Russ Root, and I mean, they were just fucking going to town. And that was like 2012-ish or so. So, I mean, they were really still just.
Yeah, I love Russ.
They had, I think his name was Preacher or something on drums. He was awesome. But
Rusted Root, you need to come back to Detroit.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Absolutely.
I used to go see him every year. They come to St. Andrews Hall.
Every year.
I love them.
So the other one, I mean, Porno for Pyros, who knows? I mean, we know some killer tunes we want to hear. The ones we know by him, obviously. I've never seen him live. And I believe Shaq said it was something like 25 years since they've actually toured or something.
I bet.
And I remember when I saw James in November, I was talking about it at our draft at Paul's house. And stepbrother Kevin. He's like, oh, seriously? Jane's Addiction's coming? He's like, I've seen them, like, I don't know how many times, and Porno for Pyro something. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was never a huge, that was the thing, is like, I was never a huge Jane's fan. I always loved their music, but I was like, they almost hit even before I realized they were good. You know, and by that point, I'd already moved on, and they were kind of done at that point.
Well, and there were other bands that you were like, I want to see these bands instead of Jane's.
One of the ones that you're not going to is Lumineers.
Yeah.
But we talked, your killer tune for them, you loved just last year when you did see them.
Stubborn Love.
Stubborn Love. I mean, it's a classic.
I mean,
it's awesome.
It's a really
they have
good
so
song.
many. It is just a great environment. It's a good time, and all their songs are just.
I can't believe how simple. Like,
it seems so simple. It does.
You know,
it almost makes you think, "Oh my God, I could be a superstar," and I think that's part of the attraction with it. You know,
and they have.
It doesn't have to be all this complex work on stuff. It can be just a simple, and all the pieces work together.
And they have so many songs with names. And it's like, how many more gosh darn names are you going to come up with? And then they're all the same songs.
You can't hear it, but he's jingling his change right now in his pocket as he's bitching about that. So the one you are going to go to is Ben Harper. You need to go.
Yeah, I'll go.
And he actually has he's got so many killer tunes in my mind, right? But he's also had a very good track record of some pretty cool covers. I mean, you go back years, I mean, he covers Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing, which is, like, to me, awesome. You know, it's the old tune, but it's got more of kind of that twist on it. You know, Ben makes it his own. He's also known for the Faded with Whole Lotta Love by Zeppelin, that medley. And I've actually seen that one. And oh my God, I mean, depending on which show you see, that thing can last probably anywhere from about 12, 13 minutes to about 18 minutes. But oh my God, it just jams on it. But I've noticed he's got a kind of a newer medley that he's been playing, I think, during the European leg of his tour, and it's Amen Omen, which is his tune.
You mentioned that.
I don't sing, but along with Knocking on Heaven's Door, which obviously Bob Dylan. Ben. Yeah, you guys know Ben, right?
You know Ben.
He actually does it better than Bob. No, Bob Dylan.
Bob Harper.
But no, Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door. Some people may think, no, he don't sing that. Guns N' Roses does, but welcome to history.
Welcome to history.
But no, I'm kind of hoping he plays that when we see him, because I watched the video. It's super cool.
And have you been contacting him and say, hey, you better be playing that?
Well, I tell you what.
Just like we said, don't be that guy that says play Freebird.
We'll be knocking on his door for an interview.
Yes.
Of course. No, but the absolute one I want to hear, though, is I know he did Indifference by Pearl Jam with Eddie Vedder in the past. Like, they did a collab with it. I would love to just see him pull it out as a solo. I mean, it's totally in his wheelhouse. The super slow, the acoustic. He's done it before, which, I mean, either way, it doesn't matter what he plays. It's going to be amazing.
I'll say something. I've seen Blues Traveler a bunch of times, and they play all the hits, you know.
Uh-huh.
And there's one song that I don't think he's played, or they've played played live a lot of times, and it was called Sweet Pain.
Oh, I love Sweet Pain.
Sweet Pain is probably one of their best songs, probably the best song. It's one of
that one and Mountains Win Again.
Yeah,
I like that tune by them as well.
Oh, they play that song, but Sweet Pain they will not play.
Really?
I've only seen it live on like YouTube, like once back in like '93.
You know, it's funny how you bring that up. Like some of these super rare things we talked about, Ed Sheeran and Eminem, and I'm just going to tease this right now. But when I was talking with Hebert last week. He brought it up, you know, thinking about like the Eminem and Ed Sheeran. Unfortunately, he wasn't there either, but he sent me over some of the collabs that he's seen in his day, and I can't wait to talk with him when he's on here about it.
So there's songs that you want to hear, but they just won't play them, and I think that's a very personal song. I think it's about a death and family or friend.
I remember you talked about this. With Rusted Root, that they never play anything off of like the Remember CD or this or that. And I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder if sometimes it depends on who the members were at the time. Like, was it more heavy writing on this person, and they're no longer with them. So, but
and it probably, again, we're not artists, we're not musicians. Maybe it doesn't feel right, and they're like, I don't even want to play it.
No, and it's funny. Another topic we got with Hebert is he's going to see Aerosmith. So he's actually the one I went to my very first concert with, which was Aerosmith and Joan Jett at the Palace of Auburn Hills in 1990. I was 15 years old, and he's going to Aerosmith, but he's not going to LCA. He's going on to the West Coast in LA. And he's been chasing an Aerosmith song live his entire concert career.
Right.
And he's already checking, he's going to check set lists and everything else to see if it makes it on there. But this could be his last. It is Aerosmith's final tour. So
it's a bunch of BS.
I know. Hey, we're kind of winding down here. Is there any concerts that are coming up that you have your eye on? And I didn't have anything really written down.
I don't think Sting is going to be in concert soon.
No. But of course, yeah, right. Like you aren't just waiting. You have all your alerts set, so the second he announces it, you'll be front row. Front row. Right. No, you know who I saw was coming? Danzig. Mother!
Dude.
You know who will be front row for that?
Yes, but I forget the name.
Gradzicki. Remember? You would always, Mother! And then there's the street sign right by Paul's old place. And this is always what God would say. How the hell did you get there? Well, you turn left at Mother! Because the street's name was Danzig.
Yes.
And we always wanted to steal it. I don't know. We're at 25. We're not going to fucking steal a sign.
You make a turn at Mother!
I'd always shit myself.
You say you don't have a good voice, but you can say Mother pretty good.
Really?
Go again, one more time.
Mother!
Nice.
I need you to come in after, though. That's all I got. All right. Really, I didn't have any other concerts. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's so much on our docket already.
Yeah.
I know Beyonce was here last week.
I think I had a lot of people from work go to that concert. Loved it. Was it like we said? Ed Sheeran was last week.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I'm excited. I mean, concert. It is the concert season.
So it is kind of it's our concert season's coming up. July was very dead. Even June, right?
For sure.
We didn't do anything really, but like I said, we got I got 6 lined up. You got 3 lined up in the next few months. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll record on.
Yeah, I think for the pumpkins we do no matter what.
Yeah,
right? We're going to be a Pine Knob.
Yeah.
Tailgate
Put
a
some
little bit.
snippets on there, or whatever you guys call those, shorts or whatever.
Me, Kenny, and Avery. That'll be the 2 hosts and 2 guests.
Sweet. It'll be fun.
We do have actually. That'll have already happened when you see this, but the Avery episode is coming out in a few days on August 1st.
Right.
I'm super excited about that one. Yeah. I don't know. All I got to say is it continues to be a blast.
Absolutely.
Kind of sad that I can see the light at the end of the tunnel with season 1 wrapping up here shortly, but it's been fun. We continue to kick ass in Clarkston.
We love Clarkston kicking ass.
And if you guys don't know, then you don't know. But Clarkston, check out Pine Knob. If you ever want to see a great venue, great show during the summertime, you should hit Pine Knob. And that's where we'll be at least a few times.
And this is just a little, not like a wrap-up, but this is not a wrap-up at all. This is just a show. We don't have a guest. Sorry.
Yeah, schedules changed. No, this is just us kind of checking in. Had some topics we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure we did our quick little tribute to Sinead, given the events over the last couple of days. And we will definitely be having, actually probably our next guest might be Hebert.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be a super exciting show.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, almost like 500 shows he's been to.
I can't believe it.
And he's like, well, should I bring like my book of stubs? I'm like, well, why wouldn't you? Of course,
sure.
Yeah, bring it.
We can put it right there.
Yeah, just going through that, would be just like a travel through history, you know. And it'll be interesting to catch up with him. We still got to get Keith back on, Stepbrother Keith.
Yes.
Obviously, it was a shame that we couldn't be recording with him, but life does get in the way.
Yes, he did text me and he wanted to know if, am I still able to? I'm like, yeah.
No, we don't blackball anyone. Don't worry, Keith. You'll be on like season 4 or 5. We got you all lined up already. No, we'll have him on hopefully in the next couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
And Neil, great job. It's been fun actually. Yeah. Just having me and you again.
Yeah.
To catch up and see how things go.
It was cool. We didn't really put many notes down. But then we just kind of freeballed this and hopefully you guys liked it. Yep.
All right, cool. We will see everyone next time when it will be episode 12. And that, no. Episode 12 will be Hebert. And then we'll follow up. Yeah, we got to get, we'll have to get Keith in on the back end there.
It's fine.
Then we'll still do a wrap up.
Doesn't really, it doesn't really.
We'll still do a wrap up.
We'll be fine.
Especially, it'd actually be kind of cool because we got Hebert. We'll do Keith sometime early September, and we can do ours after the Pumpkins, Greta Van Fleet, and Pearl Jam shows.
Sounds good,
brother. And that'll just be me and you. We'll kind of do our thing. It'll be, we'll see how our little experiment goes, tailgating. And I'll be able to report back from Pearl Jam, which will be the first time I've seen them in decades, which is super exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. You're going to get some videos. I can't wait.
And then in that sandwich, the meat of it's going to be Greta Van Fleet with me, Kenny, and Avery, which, couldn't ask for a better experience either, so...
All right, Cal.
Neil, it's been awesome again. I'm really glad to continue to do this with you. And, going out with Sinead again, so sad. Yep. So, everyone, we'll see you next time. Hang in there.
Later, bros.